Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to the 2015 BC Fantasy Footballers Fantasy Draft Lottery. Last year, of course, at the desk, we did a pulling names from envelopes style lottery. This year, we're stepping it up. I've got the guys from CKPG in the back room. They have done the draft lottery. I do not know the order, and we're all going to find out at the exact same time. So without further ado, let's start with the 14th pick overall. Gentlemen, please run the random draft selector. Here it goes. Okay, 14th pick overall will go to me, Rich Abney. Let's take a look at last year's draft results for Rich. Last year, I finished third. I drafted third overall. I moved down 11 spots from last year. Now, I went with Shady McCoy first round, Antonio Brown in the second round. Actually, my 18th round pick led to my demise. I drafted Odell Beckham, released him, and lost to him in the playoffs. So looking at the big draft board, sitting at 14th overall, last year's third place finisher, myself, Rich Abney. Gentlemen, if we can run the random draft selector to find out who will be the 13th pick overall. Roll it! This is very exciting. That's a bit of a downfall for me there. It's the snake, Clark Hamigami. Interesting to see he'll be taking 13th pick overall. Last year he finished 9th. He picked last year the exact same spot in 13th, obviously trying to improve on last year's. He went wide receiver last year, taking Julio Jones and Jordy Nelson in the first two rounds. He's been a champion in the past, and he used to have the league's highest scoring record. So interesting to see he'll be picking 13th and 16th. So there you go, Clark picking 13th. Gentlemen, please run the random draft selector to find out who will be taking the 12th overall pick. A lot of handsome dudes in this group. Oh, it is Tyler McNeil. Neil Rita, excellent, picking 12th overall. Let's take a look at what happened last year. He finished in dead last year, 14th, after picking 5th overall. That means he's going to move down 7 spots from last year. Now, he went with Megatron last year in round 1. Looked like a good pick at the time. Calvin had a bit of a year off, but he's gone with Calvin in years gone by. So it should be interesting to see what happens with McNeil this year, trying to move up from 14th last year. So he moves into the 12th spot. Clark 13th and myself 14th. Gentlemen, with no further ado, please run the random draft selector to find out who will be going 11th in the 2015 BC Fantasy Footballers Draft. He of the frosted tips, Mike McWhorter Dub, will be going with the 11th overall pick. Last year, he finished 4th. An impressive result for Dub. He'd had a couple off years, from worst a couple years ago to his semifinal berth last year. He picked 2nd overall last year, going with Jamal Charles. Patriots treated him well last year. He took Gronk in the 3rd, Brandon LaFell in the 9th. They combined for over 2,000 yards and 19 touchdowns. So that means that Mike McWhorter moves into the 11th overall pick. How fun is this? This is real exciting. Let's take a look at who will be drafting 10th overall with the random draft selector. Gentlemen, roll the lottery, please. The 10th overall pick is going to go to Wheezy H Baby, PSTB. Please say the baby. Let's take a look what happened last year for Jeff in the draft. Last year, Jeff picked 8th overall, and he finished 10th. Bit of a tough year for him injury-wise. So not a bad finish. He went wide receiver, quarterback last year with AJ Green and Aaron Rodgers in rounds 1 and 2. It might have been the best waiver pickup of the year, though, with Justin Forsett being one of the best running backs in the league all season long. So that means Wheezy moves into the 10th overall spot. So we're into our top 9 picks now. Please roll the random draft generator so we can find out who goes 9th overall. It is going to be Mr. Auto Draft himself, Tyler Hamadi. Let's take a look at what Hamadi did last year. He was actually at the draft last year, which is a bit of a surprise. He picked 12th overall last year, finishing 8th. So a pretty good year for him, to be honest with you. He took Eddie Lacy and Le'Veon Bell, ended up on his roster by the end of the season. They're both supposed to be top 5 picks this year. Tom Brady, the greatest player in the history of football, he took in the 6th round. He moves up 3 spots from last year. He'll be going with the 9th overall pick. So to find out who will be going in the 8th overall pick in this year's Fantasy Football BC Footballers Draft, let's run the generator. We're down to the top 8 picks. It is going to be the biggest mouth in the league, Kyle Waddell. Wads will be picking 8th overall. Last year, he went number 1 overall. Bit of an interesting decision. He surprised everyone taking AP, Adrian Peterson. That didn't work out that well, but he went running back, following AP up with CJ Spiller and Alfred Morris. But in the 8th and 9th round, he salvaged his year going with some veteran receivers, Anquan Boldin, Steve Smith, about over 1,000 yards. He did finish second in the league last year. So Kyle Waddell moves in to the 8th overall pick in the draft. We're into our top 7. You've got top 7 guys who are getting a little nervous now. Please run the generator to find out who will be taking 7th overall. Kind of middle of the round. Interesting. Not always the easiest. It's going to be the rookie in the league this year, the Frenchman, David Barter. Welcome to the league. Barter's going to be replacing H.E. Pennypacker, Nick Shemley, who's going to be away this year. He finished 12th last year, so it'll be interesting to see. We don't know a lot about Barter's fantasy football other than his effort level is high. The boys are assuring me he will be awfully attentive. So David Barter, the gambler, he moves into the 7th pick overall, right in the middle. Interesting to see what happens there. Please roll the generator so we can find out who's picking 6th overall. It is going to be the perfect one, Pat Sobey and his partner, Brody Carl, who just got married. Congratulations to Brody for marrying someone way prettier than you. Pat and Brody, last year's champion after picking 9th overall. So their spot's going to move up 3 from last year. Now, they had quite the year last year. They went with Dez and Peyton in the 1st and 2nd round, but free agent receivers, they added Odell Beckham, which stings me to say, and Jarvis Landry off the waiver wire, and eventually leading to their hot playoffs. Now they're going to draft 6th overall. So we're down to our top 5. I know there's 5 good players left. We're going to find out who is drafting 5th overall. Please roll the generator so we can find out who is the 5th pick overall. Should be an interesting Jay Mosberian. Look how happy he looks in that picture. He's looking pretty good. Let's take a look at Jay last year. He drafted in the 11th spot last year, ended up moving up from that, finishing 7th, 6 spots higher this year than he was last year. Now, Moz, he went running back in the first 2 rounds. He paired Monty Ball with Giovanni Bernard. They both seem to have lost their starting roles for this season, so we certainly won't have those guys again. Hard to know where to value D players, but he took J.J. Watt, naming his team after him later on in the year, in the 14th round, looking like a pretty good pick there. We're into our top 4 as Jay Mosberian slides into the 5th pick. Top 4, please roll the generator so we can find out who is going with the 4th overall pick this year. One of the greatest players in snowball history. You can see him there. So much leadership. Kyle McMurphy, the Murph Dog, Taz, McMuffin. Last year, he finished 5th. He makes the playoffs every year, this guy. He drafted in the 10th spot last year. He's going to move up 6 spots. It's going to be a different draft for him. Made the playoffs. A midseason trade saw him acquire Jimmy Graham. That helped him boost himself into the postseason. He also took DeAndre Hopkins in the round 7, so that's some great value there. Kyle McMurphy moves into the 4th overall spot. We're into our top 3. This is pretty darn exciting. A lot of credit to the guys in the back for making these great graphics. So the top 3. We're going to find out who picks 3rd overall right here. We're one of 3 guys. The cheese man, Kyle Keegan, will be taking the 3rd pick overall. Taking a look at what happened last year with Kyle. He picked in the 4th spot last year, finishing 11th. Just up 1 spot last year. He did take Matt Forte with the 4th pick overall, so that didn't look so bad. Drew Brees went in the 2nd round for him. Mark Ingram in the 9th, great value for Kyle Keegan as well. Interesting to see if he can sort of recreate a little bit of early round success while pairing it with some better picks later on and improve on his 11th place finish. So Kyle Keegan goes into the 3rd pick overall. So an exciting time. We're down to the top 2. It's either going to be Steve Maddock or Reed Anderson with the top pick overall. The guys in the back have informed me that the next person that shows up is the one that finished with the 1st pick overall. So please roll it. We're going to find out who's picking first in the 2015 BC Fantasy Footballers Draft. Reed or Maddock? Look at Maddock's picture there. Very serious. 1st pick overall is Steve Maddock. So that means Reed Anderson will be picking 2nd. We'll take a quick look at Reed's draft history. He drafted 6th last year, finishing with a bit of a rough year, 13th. So he's moving up 4 spots from last year. Bit of a messy draft, but he did make a big trade acquiring DeMarco Murray, looking to bounce back. And of course, our 1st pick overall is going to be Steve Maddock. Last year, he picked 7th, finished 6th. That was actually a bit of an off year for Steve. He's won 2 times in the last 4 years. So there you have it. Let's quickly bring up the draft board here and go over the guy. Rich picking 14th, Clark picking 13th, Neil at the 12th pick overall, Mike McWhorter at 11th, Wheezy H Baby picking 10th. 9th spot going to go to Tyler Hamadi, Kyle Waddell at the 8th spot, David Barter, the rookie, picking 7th, Pat Sobey and Brody Carl, those are your defending champions, they're picking 6th. Jay Mosberian going with the 5th overall pick, the Murph Dog going at number 4, Cheeto going at number 3, Reed looking to move up from last year with the 2nd pick overall, And Steve Maddock is your pick, or excuse me, your #1 overall pick. Good luck in the draft this year, boys, and all the best.